Hey everybody, we're back again. We're gonna do a 50 through 100 and a welding inspecting technology sample book for the Part A test. Again, these are sample questions. Not all these questions are gonna be on the test. It's gonna throw a lot of woozies and doozies. In my opinion, I think that it's a smart test, I guess you could say. It's like you're taking it, you get these first few questions, and then you see where it's gonna get a little harder, a little easier. Up, no, we can go a little harder, and see where you're at, and then bring it down a bit. But they're gonna keep it just above that hardness line. So if you're having trouble with one piece, they're gonna stay up on that piece. If you're easy, they're not gonna be down in that part. So they have 6, 7, maybe even 800 questions they can pull from for all this test. I've come across questions in my videos that I've already told you about that I don't even have in this book. In the WIT book itself, it has over 400 questions, and this is only 150. Big difference. I believe it's over 400 questions, and I got these questions come out from here. From that book. But then I got book over here. No, it's out on the kitchen table. My other book that has a bunch of tabs in it. But then you also got to go through your 600-page book of code. That some of those questions are in it too. But you don't get to take that book. No. And they say this is like a common sense test. I do believe this is a little more than just common sense testing. For a welder, maybe common sense, not all the time. Not all welders go through this. And in fact, I did take a vertical and overhead 7018 3G and 4G. So just to know which one exactly it is. 1-inch plate. I passed my overhead, failed my vertical. So if you haven't taken weld tests long enough and never failed, you haven't done enough weld tests. This is the second one I've ever failed. The first one I failed was overhead. Yeah. Out in the field, I failed an overhead test and I passed my vertical. So I guess it's just saying, hey, you need to find a way to do them both at the same time. Number 51. Which of the following tests would be least effective for judging weld soundness in the as welded condition? And that's going to be straight beam UT. Hmm. 52. The perception threshold of electrical current is the level of amps when most people feel a tingle. I guess. The welding process that uses a non-consumable electrode is gas tungsten arc welding. The advantage of electro beam welding is dissimilar metals cannot be welded. It can be welded. I misread that. Dissimilar metals can be welded. 55. The material that adheres to the bottom side of a cut made with plasma arc cutting process is known as dross. 56. Information appearing to the right of a weld symbol refers to the length of the weld required. Yes, I had some of these on my test alone. They had like the diagram, and they would show the tail with the reference line and the arrow, and show like 2-4, and then it has something else underneath that saying 2-4. So one side's 2-4, and then you go in a little bit for another 2-4, and there'll be a line, usually denoting how far over you need to start that 2-4. Usually it's going to be a stutter. So 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. But if they're in line with each other, they're exactly 2 across. 57. The pipe weld testing position in which the axis of the pipe is horizontal and the pipe is rotated so the welding takes place at or near the top is designated as a 1G. I know that sounds really weird that you put 1G. You think it'd be like 1GR for rotated, but it's not. 58. Using the appropriate conversion factor, what is the weight of a 30-pound spool of welding wire in kilograms? And this one, the answer is 13.6. In general, an increase in the carbon equivalent of a carbon steel will result in an increase in its hardness. Remember, you're increasing the carbon, so you're going to make the steel harder, but at the same time you can make it more brittle or ductile. 60. The radiograph in figure 3 shows, so this is a piece of film that they're putting on there, and it's saying what is figure 3 showing, and it shows a weld and has 3 lines in it separated along with some starts and stops. And this one's going to show that it's lack of penetration and starts and stops. If I had a visual I could show you, I would, besides showing the book up to you, but I don't think it's going to come up very good. But it's like, here's the weld, here's the crack, a little later here's the stop. Then you go along again, here's the crack, a little bit later here's the start, and go a little bit further, and it keeps on doing it that way. It's a repetitive piece. 61. Which of the following is most likely to use a transducer to scan flaws? And that is going to be UT, or ultrasonic tester. In what document are the duties and responsibilities of a CWI described? And that is the American Welding Society QC-1. Yep, okay. Make sure I got it right. Which of the following soldering methods is an alternative to wave soldering? And that is called cascade soldering. If you want, feel free to look up cascade soldering on YouTube. It's kind of neat. 64. The overhead fillet weld test position is designated as 4F. Let's see. 65. The effect of a liquid being drawn into tight clearances is called capillary action. Use the appropriate conversion factor. Determine the approximate feed speed in inches per minute for a wire feed at a speed of 120 millimeters a second, which comes down to 283 inches per minute. Okay, this one's here in the radiograph again. It says in the radiograph figure 4, the arrows point to, and yeah, it's a weld that has cracks in it, and the arrows are pointing to the cracks. And that's going to be a transverse crack. So yeah, the cracks are vertical. Your weld is this way, the cracks are this way, so it's going against the weld, so it's transverse. Let's see. 68. A weld inspection plan should be developed excuse me, before welding begins. Which of the statements about braze welding listed below is correct? Capillary action is not part of the process. '70. Which of the following documents identifies the ranges in some of the variables allowed during welding production? And that is WPS. A break in the arrow of a welding symbol has what significance? The broken arrow line segment joints to the member which receives the joint penetration. 72 here. In pipe groove weld testing, the 45-degree fixed position is designated as 6G. A joint between two members aligned approximately in the same plane is a joint, butt joint. So it's not talking about anything being beveled. It's just like two plain edges, nicely done and ground and flat, and you just put them together. All welding symbol information referring to the arrow side of the joint is found below the reference line. Which of the following is considered to be the most portable method of magnification when conducting a magnetic particle test? And that is the AC yoke. An E71T-11 electrode is applicable to which of the following processes? And that is flux core arc welding. That is going to be some that I even got that one wrong on my practice test and on the real test. Because for some reason I was thinking it was plasma arc welding. So, because you see E for electrode, you know. But this one here, I mean, there are so many different wires, sticks, tungsten variables all over. So, because you can have flux core, standard, electro slag, dual shield. I mean, there's so many different ones out there that, no, it's not hard to get them mixed up, is all I'm saying. That's why we have our books. 77. All welding symbols require which of the following basic elements? Reference line and arrow. Basic elements. You don't need to have a tail in a reference line. A weld made at the backside of a single groove weld is a back weld, not backing, just back weld. The presence of paint on the surface of a part will mostly greatly affect the results of an NDE method, PT and MT. So penetrant test and magnetic test. And number 80. A certified associate welding inspector, or CAWI, inspects weldments only under the direction of a CWI. They have no power to do anything. All they do is follow the CWI, I would say like a little puppy. Which of the following welding processes use a consumable electrode that is not in the form of a spooled wire? That is shielded metal arc welding. Manual soldering is the electronics industry is typically performed with soldering irons. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but it's just a deal about yay long. And you see it a lot with people doing computers or electronic repair. Yeah, 83. 83 is a diagram. And it just says, which of the following symbol correctly describes the joint configuration shown in the figure 5? And it has, oh shoot, let's see if I can show it to you here. So that's the figure 5 right there, is that block with the 2 welds on it. It's asking which one's the correct answer. That is B. If you go back a little bit, you'll see the answers. It's B. So it has a quarter inch on both sides. This is on both sides. They're identical. Quarter inch, and in parentheses is 7/16. So you have the gap is a quarter inch, but with the penetration, it shrinks down to, it goes into a 7/16. 84 is an essential variable as described as data on WPS that if changed beyond code limits will require requalification. So don't change it. if you can help it, don't change it. Use the appropriate conversion factor. Determine the approximate pounds per square inch on a yield strength of 198 MPa. And that answer comes out to be 2.871 times 10 to the 4. So again, that calculator I have will tell me, once I put it in, it'll tell me 10 to the, and I'll have a little 4 right up in the corner. You cannot use a calculator that has memory, just so you know. Which of the following microstructural constituents is the hardest? And that's going to be martensite. Oh, there I am. The discontinuity noted in the radiation graph in figure 6. And in this one, it is porosity. It's just a little speck. And it's porosity, so probably like slag, hydrogen, something like that, just sitting right there. Even in the, I don't remember, but I think you can actually blow up the picture on the test so you can magnify it. Which of the following is not easily detected using RT that is perpendicular to the weld center line? And in this one, it is sidewall incomplete fusion with a bevel of 35 degrees. The size of the arrow side, so this is figure 7. Quarter, 5/16, the fillet, 2-4, then 1-6. So you know it. It's probably a T-joint. No. The arrow side, the size of the arrow side weld in figure 7 is 5/16. So it goes down, arrow. So if it was up, this would have been the arrow side. It's going down, so this is the arrow side. And the number 90. If a welder is continually turning out rejectable work, the welding inspector should require requalification. Using the appropriate conversion factor, express the tensile strength of 65,000 psi in megapixels, or MPa. And in this one, it comes down to 448. One common cause of centerline weld crack is a highly strained weld joint. Double check that. Yes, 91 is correct. And the 93, if I get the right pages. Which of the following is considered to be an advantage of visual testing? Discontinuities can be located and noted when they occur. Government regulations and global competition are two of several factors creating concern for product quality. Before welding on a container, which of the following must be done with its contents? Yes. Displace them with water. A disadvantage of brazing is the inability to successfully join limited small surface joint areas. What is the appropriate distance between the end of an electrode and the torch or stick out when performing the CACA process on various metals? And it's no more than 7 inches. And that is because of the compressed air. When I first did it, they just said stick the electrode in, here's the air, go. No teaching on it. Nothing. So it was definitely, and it was a 3-inch billet shaft right through the arm, and I was trying to go straight and I ended up going curved up a little bit, and I was told don't scratch the sidewall. I just scratched it. What I had to do was shrink it down to where we could beat it out. That was a real pain because we heated the outside trying to expand it. Well, I tried to drill in to give more shrinkage. And that piece was stainless steel. It was not fun. It was hot. If a welding symbol features a contour symbol along with the letter G, the desired contour must be achieved by grinding. 99. How does a welder become certified? Documenting several completion of a weld test according to the WPS. Where I can certify at is 2 hours away. I've been invited to go up and do it. It cost me about $300, $400. Last one. Hydrogen in the molten weld metal can cause cracking and porosity. Alright, well that does 51 through 100 of the WIT sample questions. I have one more test setup coming up. That is going to be 101 through 150. So y'all stay tuned. Bye bye.